I've got my bump cap on. So my mate Barry come to visit me and gave me a bump cap, which is an indoor cap, and I use it for indoors only. And strangely, that I go up to the hatch and I've already knocked my head, and the reason I've knocked my head is because there's a slight difference in height. And anyway, thanks for last week. There was lots of positive things that came out of last week's Q&A, and I just want to say thanks. And you know, I'm gonna keep this on the same sort of level. There's various things I've done this week. These things here, these are what are they? Pluggy things that you plug in, and it tells you how much power is going through the plug, and then you can monitor how much power is going in. So I've got one on the fridge, one on the freezer, and one in the office for the computer, so I can monitor power on the boat a bit better. Also this week I got 2 books from a subscriber, Fat Man Blues and Near Death. Thank you Richard for sending me these, and so I'm going to get to read them. And it's nice that people take the time and effort to, in fact, give me stuff, and I think that's fantastic. I really do appreciate that. So I'm going to crack on and read those. So on this day, actually the 4th of September is quite a good day for on this day, as it happens. The Apache leader in 1886, the Apache leader Geronimo surrendered the final time to General Nelson Miles in Arizona. On this day, 4th September in 1888, the US inventor George Eastman was granted a patent for the roll film camera and registered Kodak as a trademark. The last of Glasgow's green and yellow trams ran in the city's East End, ending the transport system they had for nearly 90 years. The Beatles began their first recording session with producer George Martin at EMI's Abbey Road studios in London. Forth Bridge in 1964 was the Forth Bridge in Scotland was open to traffic. And in 1978, severe floods in northern India left at least 2 million people homeless. Yeah, kind of that. Well, it's not in India. It's happening a lot in Pakistan at the moment. A suicide bomb attacks in Jerusalem killed nearly 200 people in 1997. And on the internet, I've found, let's do that. Thomas Edison. This day in 1882, the first large-scale test of Thomas Edison's light bulb was used in New York City's Pearl Street station. So on this day, quite interesting. Okay, on this day also we did some Q&A, and I'm going to continue where I left off last time with composting. Just quickly, because WB and Martin Ruby asked about what am I doing when we're composting. Any regrets of the choice? No. What am I doing with composting? Do you know, actually I cleaned out the composter today, emptied the bin into that green bin, but before I do that I went into the wood line and got some leaves and some bottoms kind of like dirt and all that sort of stuff, picked out the twigs and piled it into the bottom of the green bin, piled my poo on top, give it a big stir, piled some more leaves and dirt on top, give it a big stir, use a stick, give it a big stir, and put it on the bow. I don't shut the lid, I just close the lid, just close so that air gets in, and the thing is to stir it. And it's working quite well with the big bin. It's difficult now to stir it, but it's working well. So what am I going to do with it? Well, I'm going to grow some flowers next year. Not going to put tomatoes in it or anything like that. Lettuce, not quite yet. I don't think I ever will, but I might grow some flowers. Yeah. So let's move on then. David asks, will you be keeping your car, and how's that impacted your choice for your travels? Sold the car, David. It was a sad day. I didn't want to sell the car. It was a proper sad day for me. Loved that car. And I sold it to webuyanycar.com. If ever you need to sell a car, do not sell it to them. They will offer you absolute bottom price. And I do believe that We Buy Any Car is like Cash Converters, but with cars. So if you need to get rid of your car quick, then that's probably the way to do it. I needed to get rid of it. It was quick, it was easy, and they just offer you bottom dollar. But I did have the car MOT'd, and there were some underlying issues that after 13 years of travelling, it needed new brakes, it needed a new parking brake, it needed new bushes on top of the suspension arms. The suspension arms were weeping. They're electric suspension arms, so it's all going to go wrong. But after 13 years of travelling, I would kind of expect that, and if I was keeping the car, I would have paid out those things, because the car engine and all the rest of it was great. Impact on a day-to-day basis doesn't, to be fair. It doesn't. I can get a car if I need a car. I can do some travelling if I need to travel. It takes a bit of working out, but I can do it. Marie asks, have you found it difficult to slow down mentally to your life on the canal? Marie, not to slow down, because I am busy enough as it is. I think with this YouTubing malarkey and answering the questions and thinking about how I'm going to grow the channel, that takes up an awful lot of my time. And then when I'm reading, I'm doing answering questions, I'm doing editing, I'm starting to edit 3 videos a week. That keeps me extremely busy. Is it useful busy? Well, discuss. I don't make a lot of money from the YouTube. Make about £100 a month, which keeps me in diesel. And you know, it is what it is. But I think what I found really difficult, Marie, is for 37 years I worked in a team. Now I'm just Team Chris, and that's the bit I find difficult. Old Hobbit asks, what editing software do you use for your vlogs? Final Cut Pro 10 or Final Cut FCPX? The reason why I bought that instead of Adobe is because you pay a one-off cost, 360 quid I think it was, and all updates are free. And it's a good bit of software. It took me a while to get used to it. I've still got various things that I'm planning to use, but you need the right situation to use them. I've got plugins and I've invested in some stuff like that, but generally speaking, it works. And iMovie is a cheaper version of it, and I think I could edit on iMovie. I might try and edit this video on iMovie because it's just me talking to the camera, and that's, you know, that's relatively easy. Therefore I can just use this old laptop to keep me going. But some of the stuff that I do, Final Cut Pro is a very good bit of kit. GC asks, apart from your normal activities, what is a typical day in the life of Chris? Well, GC, I got up this morning at 2 o'clock. Why do I get up at 2 o'clock? Because I went to bed early. It's dark outside, I go to bed. Saves electricity, keeps me warm because I'm under the duvet. And I woke up at 2, so I went for a walk. It's funny what you can do at 2 o'clock in the morning. You wander around and you see stuff that isn't necessarily seen. Activity. I can remember doing this in Iraq. I took a multiple patrol out, and I said to the lads, "There's night patrol." I said to them, "What we're going to do a lurk." "What's one of those?" "You'll see." Went out in the Land Rovers and went out there, and then I just, right, here's a good little place. We're in the shadows, in the dingy part of the area of operations in Iraq, and I just, right, keep lights out, don't move, keep your ears open. Well, we can't see anything. You don't need to see anything, you just need to listen. And then when you've heard something, get your night sight working and see what you can see. About 10 minutes, oh, they said this is good, like this. Why don't we do this bit? Well, those are things we did in Northern Ireland, to be fair, and there wasn't a need for lurks. And it's something we don't necessarily teach, it's just experience. Found out an awful pattern of life and all that sort of stuff. It's great, which is why I go on about pattern of life when I'm mooring up. So yeah, I'll go for a walk early on. The other day I went out and collected some wood. I then chopped that up and I'm prepared for winter. I'm not sure the wood's completely dry, but you know, it's squared away for when it is. And I just keep myself busy doing stuff, reading, vlogging, editing, shopping. Mile and a half to go shopping, and I do that, and you know, get a pint of milk or something. Just get a pint of milk, go. And there's, you know, I'm prepared to walk 3 miles to go shops and then come back. There's an hour each way, you know. Just do stuff, GC. Caroline asks, how are the batteries doing? Yeah, okay. How are the batteries, or how low are the batteries when you were moored up for a week? Okay, when I was at Foxton Locks, sun was out all week. I was in a great place for sun. I didn't need to turn the engine on at all, ever. I've never been stayed in for a long period of time since then, other than down here at the moment where I am. And right now I need to turn the engine on for about 40 minutes to an hour each day, and I do that after the sun's done its business. So today I think I've, you know, started at 50% battery power. It's gone up to 63 with what little sun I've had, and I'll bang it on for half hour tonight and get up to 75% and something like that, and it sees me through the following day really. And if I wanted some hot water, then I could either turn the Webasto on or run the engine for a bit of power. So it does depend how much sun, but if I'm in a great spot for solar and the sun's out, I don't need to turn the engine on at all. And I've done 0 to hero in 4 hours. So when you consider there's a lot of electricity, and this boat is power hungry for whatever reason, fridge, freezer, computer, inverter, things just use a bit of electricity, which, you know, more than I thought it would have done, to be fair. Craig asks, what changes, recommendations would you have or made for future narrowboat owners? I wouldn't want to make any changes on this boat, because I think for my requirements, and I've set this boat up for my requirements, it absolutely works. So if you're going to buy a new boat or second-hand boat, make sure you fit the boat to your requirements, or as much as you can if you're buying a second-hand boat. Recommendations: think where you're going to put your chlorifier. I mentioned last week Jill's got a great place for a chlorifier, but it wouldn't work for me because my chlorifier is bigger, so it wouldn't have worked. And it is where it is. So if you're going to move something, it has an impact on something else. So it isn't, I'm going to do this. I was watching Lee and Ali's YouTube, and they're putting a skylight in that has an impact on, because they bought a loom that's already been planned, they've got to change that. So one little thing has an impact on something else, and that will have an impact on something else, I'm sure. But you know, they're sorted out. Recommendations, deep sinks, I said that last week. Recommendations also, single pane windows. I know people are, oh, double glazing's best, and the reason why I got single glaze windows is because, and I've mentioned this before, condensation will form on those windows. I know where the condensation's going. If I double glaze in, I won't know where the condensation's going, but it's going somewhere, and then I'll have to find it out. And people say, oh, it goes up in the mushroom vents. I listened to a bloke who lives on a boat and has done so for 20 years, and he said to me, no, it goes somewhere. It doesn't just go in the mushroom vents, it goes somewhere. Now you can buy a dehumidifier, but where you're going to put it, because everything's a little bit tight. And I've had a discussion in the comments with somebody on dehumidifiers. So my simple solution is keep the windows open on the off towpath side, or every other window, and manage it. But I know where the condensation's going, it's going on those windows. That is my advice. Other people may give you other advice, and then if you know the facts, then you know what to do. And I think that's about the best way of saying it. Leon Ali asks, paint. Do you feel that you've made the right decision painting your roof grey? And in hindsight, would you have gone a lighter colour? No. I like the colour of my roof, and the reason why I like it, yes, it does get hot, and the old chap felt it getting hot when the side walls, when the sun's out and it's proper hot, wow, too hot to touch. But I think most boats will be too hot to touch in that sun. The roof and the dark colours and all the rest of it. Now the sun's been out for a short period of time. It was 20 degrees in here. The sun was out hot for a short period of time. This boat went up from 20 to 25 degrees in about 15 minutes. And it stayed warm for longer because it's keeping the heat in, and all the other, you know, foam, spray foam and all that sort of stuff that I've got on the boat, insulation stuff. In this temperate environment, I think keeping hold of whatever heat the sun gives you around the whole boat is probably a good thing, and that's just me guessing right now. And I think that's a good thing, to hold on to that and to absorb that heat. I'll let you know in the winter, but at the moment I wouldn't have changed the colour. I wouldn't have changed the, you know, what's on the roof, other than when I'm doing my brasses, I have to do them in a cooler part of the day when the sun's out. Ellie J asks some deep questions. Where do you see yourself in 25 years, or in 2 to 5 years time? Ellie J, I don't know. There is a YouTuber that's done some BBC stuff, and I would like to get involved with doing some BBC stuff, because his character and what he does with his vlogs is completely different to me, and I think I could add value, and I would like someone else to film. It's very difficult on your own, filming and making this, that and the other, and I would like someone else to do the filming, someone on a boom mic with a big furry cat on the end, you know, so you get good sound, and I'd even do the editing myself, but I would like someone else to film in. I'd like to add value to Life on the Cut through my eyes, because I think it's different to the fella that's doing it for BBC. Is that someone on my boat? I don't think they did much, but I'm not sure what they were doing. but a bit of a pain. It is what it is. I think they were a little bit, oh, someone's in there. Yeah, you're right, I am. Where did I get to? Ellie J. So I'd like to do that, but if that filming doesn't come off, 2 to 5 years, don't know, Ellie J. When was your heyday? I've had a few heydays. When my tour in Germany, I absolutely loved. I could have worked 25 hours a day, 8 days a week for free. The fact I got paid for doing so was absolutely amazing. I think every weekend I was windsurfing, or we were down the discotheques dancing around to popular tunes from the hit parade. I was no good at dancing, and no matter how hard I tried, I never scored, never sort of made a friend. You get my point? I was just crap at chatting up women, and but I had such a great time. The lads, everything about it was just brilliant. I was a CVRT driver, mechanic and commander, and I just loved exercising. I loved going, you know, on exercise where you're sort of training. Just brilliant. And then that time again was when I went on 63 Squadron, my first tour there. The same people with the senior NCOs, so the sergeants and flight sergeants, and we all got on. It's great for an organisation when that happens, because when the adults get on and they're gelled and they're a close-knit team, then the junior ranks get on, because lead by example and all that sort of stuff. So it was a fantastic time. I've had other heydays, but those are my two more notable heydays. And also I did the invasion phase in 2003. I like that, to be fair. Carefree, she says, carefree at the top of the tree? No, definitely not. Carefree, I've got too much going on in my head. Family things, all that sort of stuff. No. Top of the tree, I was at the top of my tree. I was at self-actualisation when I was married, to be fair, and then I went down to physiological effects the next day when we separated. And that, you know, wealth and all that stuff can just end the 24 hours. And if we're talking Maslow's hierarchy of needs, I was then down to physiological effects. I could breathe, I could eat, I could sleep, I could drink water, I had basic shelter, and I had clothes, and I had a job. But now I've got somewhere to live that's mine. So if anything happens, I've got somewhere to live. So I'm moving up again, Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Security. I had a job which I gave up to look after Max. I was a organisational coach and consultant, you know, but chances of me getting a job like that again, I don't know. I don't know. Name your favourite cheese, Camembert. Bob says, I asked another time about exercise, narrowboating. You indicated that you do something along those lines maybe next week. Okay. Yes, Bob. When I go out for a bike ride, I tend to leak. I do lots of walking. Now I've lost the weight, I'm going to start doing a little bit of running. Only a little bit, mile up, mile back. I might go as far as mile and a half out, mile and a half back. But that's as far as I'm going to go. I'm getting too old to do the long miles, and my knees are shattered through my job. Medical accidents, thinking of, oh, see, I've got my bump cap now, which is great, my indoor cap. In 37 years in the mob, I went sick. I had, not even that, probably about 3-4 times, okay, let's say 5 times, I took time off work for illness. That's it. Dentist, twice. I only go dentist. That's it. So clean my teeth, stay fit. Hopefully that keeps everything going. The times if you get that curveball of health, I don't know I'm going to cope, really. Don't know. I hope I don't. So far, touch wood. Post delivered. I have an address that I can get post delivered, you know, Amazon and all that sort of stuff. But when it turns up here, another issue. It's as and when I get a visit. Gary has lots of questions. What did you do in the RAF and what rank did you leave as? Well, I was in the RAF regiment, probably the most hated regiment in the British military, due to stuff that's been on, unthinking moments that's been on social media. Social media's been unkind, I think. I believe we're a good regiment and we do our job in ground defence of airfields and all that sort of stuff. And I left as a warrant officer. I spent 9 years in that rank. Would you have stayed longer in the RAF had it been possible? Yes and no. Yes, if I loved regiment life and doing stuff I wanted to do. If I got a job, the last job I had in the mob I didn't like, and I was ready to leave because I hated that job. And the good jobs, the higher up the rank you go, the less good jobs are available. And I'd already been a warrant officer on 2 squadrons, so the chance of me getting another squadron was slim. I applied for some executive style jobs, but I think I have a bit of a reputation for being a hard taskmaster, and people didn't want to employ me. Basically, you know, recruit training warrant officer, and the squadron commander didn't want me, basically, because, well, I don't suffer fools, and she was a fool. And she, you know, I made that quite clear. And maybe I shouldn't have done that on interview, but, you know, I told her that the culture of our organisation needed adjusting, and you will, you know, you're in charge of that organisation. Anyway, nobody wanted to go there, and that's a cultural issue. And when people apply for the job and they know someone there and they say, oh, well, I'd like to go to recruit training, don't bother, mate, it's crap. Oh, anyway, she didn't want me. She got somebody else who's less argumentative. Which brings me on to the next point. No, would I join the RAF? So the RAF's got lots of bad press at the moment. I've had a few people on the boat, and not one of them are saying, woohoo, I'm in the RAF, it's great, it's fantastic. Everybody is monking and moaning about it, and that's a bad sign. That's a very bad sign, and Chief of the Air Staff needs to be mindful of that. I don't know if he cares, to be fair. You know, I just don't know. So recruiting issues about the RAF, absolutely true. And the group captain that resigned, she's probably got bigger balls than most of the other senior leaders in the RAF. Good on you. And Chief of the Air Staff's warrant officer, I think because I applied for that job, I didn't, you know, I was close to getting, I've applied for 3, close to getting the first one. Sir Andrew Pawford, I'd like to have worked for him. Stephen Hillier, no, I'm glad I never got that job. And Mike Wigson, glad I never got that job. Because if I did, I probably would have resigned. Same as the group captain did. Because I believe in equality of outcome, not equality of gender, race and LGBT. That's not equality. That's a different type of equality. And you know, so I'm dead against. I am absolutely for the right person for the right job. I don't care what colour, what sexuality, what man, woman, don't really care. Can you do the job? Yes. Tick VG. If you can't do the job, wrong person for the job. You know, I believe in that. And the RF's become woke, and I don't agree with the direction of travel that's been going on, so I'm glad I've out of it, to be fair. Do you have any plans during the winter to travel with other boaters? If I can find a boater that wants to be with me, yeah, it'd be great. What are your journey plans during the winter? Don't know. Take each day as it comes. I have a loose plan. It's not a strategy, it's just a loose stay in this area to see the kids, and yeah, very loose. What advice would you give anyone considering canal boat lifestyle and your learning in creating a boat? Well, I've spent a long time talking about boating type stuff. Living on a boat, give it time. You know, I'm an experienced person in many different walks of life, but I'm very team orientated, and it's hit me harder than I thought it would do. I thought I could cope, yeah, I could cope, done this, done that. Yeah, it's hit me a bit harder. If you're with a couple, gift. Adam asks, what's your age and how long did you serve for? I'm 56 and a half, closer to 57 than 56. Served for 37 years and 100 and some odd days. Loved 34 years of it. Just could have worked for free. Mark Bott says, have you still got a land residence, or have you to fall back on, or have you gone all out living on the cut? I have a partner, you know, not that you know, another half, and she has a house, and as long as we're together, then I've got somewhere to go. But I've also got this home if it doesn't go well, but you know, everything's fine for now. Anthony, will you be taking on the Patreon route? Now, Anthony's been going on about this with me for a while on the comments. I know money's of no real interest, but you're so interested and would like to reward you for entertaining us. So I put that last bit in there, because I am going to start a Patreon route. Now, I've looked at other Patreons that people have got on the tube in the segment of narrowboaters, and some people are doing extremely well and some people not so. I didn't want this channel to be about me earning money from you, because I don't think that's the reason you should set up a channel. I'm doing this to earn money from YouTube, and if I succeed, then I get money from YouTube. However, cameras cost, and albeit I've got second-hand cameras, at some stage or other they're going to break. So the principal reason for me accepting Anthony's advice of going to a Patreon route is because camera kit, and I can upgrade it if anyone chooses to subscribe down the Patreon route. Now, I want to do it differently to other people, and I think there should be some payback. If you are kind enough to offer me money, then what do I offer you? An extra video? I mean, yeah, I mean, I write to you, you know, comments and all that sort of stuff, and I think I pay due diligence to the comment section, but I want it to be something else. You know, if you're going to give me money, what do you get in return? I'd like there to be a payback. I don't know what it is yet. I've got an idea, but I need to think it through, use my MBA skills a bit, perhaps. Not doing very well. I do find the thumbnails hard. I don't want to lie. I don't want to create clickbait. I want people to subscribe to my channel because of the content, not because of just a thumbnail. Tom asks, so the one thing would you do differently with your design build? I'll discuss that. Nothing. What are you most pleased with? Lithium, bow thruster, sinks. Any general advice? The advice is build a boat. If you're going to build a boat, buy via your requirements. Byron asks, I'm interested to know if you got the battle plan for the journeys or you're going to wing it. Wing it, Byron. Darren with 2 R's says, what's the first thing you went through, that went through your mind when you woke up on the first morning on the boat? I need to go and see the kids. Let's get a grip. Let's get a move on. After what sounds like many years of planning, military planning, what was the moment that you thought, oh, I didn't think about that? Nothing really. We've spoken about loneliness, the feeling of loneliness. That's about it. Mel asks, what's the one question you would ask yourself at this stage in your journey? If I am living on this boat all my life, how am I going to cope when I get old? I will be in a marina at 80, but the steps and getting in and out of the boat and all that stuff, yeah, that's the one thing. I think, yeah, as long as I can stay active and my bones, you know, and my muscles don't give in, my mind doesn't give in, then, you know, 80 I'll be in the old marina. Dawn and Dale from Narrowboat Bunnies Warren, how are you finding early retirement? I've noticed the surprise of some people that we have been travelling on the system and retired already. I've given some sort of strange looks. Noticed some surprise, they said. Have you had a similar experience? No. Short answer. I can't waffle on any more than that. Andy and Buddy Dog asks, I'd love your thoughts on the monarchy as a whole. I feel great. I feel it's great and makes me very proud to be British. Okay, I'll deal with the monarchy along with my lunch with the Queen. You know, who asked about that? Alan and Christine. I'll do that one next week. Hi Chris, who says this? John. I remember you briefly mentioning your selection of Boris Johnson books, and given what we know of the man, I'm struggling to reconcile what he represents and how decent you are. Okay, quite personal, but I'll be happy to talk about it and keen to learn more. That will go along with next week, John, because that takes some explaining. I understand your point of view, however I sympathise, and I'll tell you why next week. Raymond C asks, what's it like on board for spiders? My wife has a phobia and hopefully get over them. I have a phobia of spiders, Raymond C, and the big black hairy legged with tattoos spiders, hate them. I haven't found any on the boat. Now we get Incy Wincy, who builds webs against the windows, and I like Incy Wincy because I've seen a fly into web. Incy crawls down, wraps it up, and then pulls it into a gap where he's been hiding and gets rid of fly. So small little spiders, and that's what they are. I haven't got a drama with. Big black hairy legs with tattoos that scuttle around. Oh, I don't like them. I can remember camel spiders in Iraq. Didn't see any in Afghan, but in Iraq, oh, they don't have to move quick and they rear up, and they're not really a spider. They're an arachnid of some sort, and they attack you. Horrible, horrible. Run a mile. Oh, horrible things. Yeah, I can cope with the little ones. Graham, an old schoolmate, although he went to grammar school and I went to the School of Life, asks me, have I broken any bones and how? Graham, you know I've broken some bones because you were with me when we did it, when I did it. So, I've broken every bone in both wrists, and I didn't understand physics as a kid. I was pretty thick. Life hasn't really changed, but I'm a little bit wiser. And you know, I was up on a changing room roof on a football field. There was just a little changing room, and I got up there relatively quick, and some fella, oh, give his hand up, Chris. He was heavier than me and he pulled me down, and I landed on the ground and shattered my wrists. So I went to hospital, and under general anaesthetic I had both my wrists reset. Now the thing that was most embarrassing was, you know, I was about 14, maybe 13, 14, and I couldn't move my arms in the morning. I needed a wee. I had to call a nurse. Anyway, that was embarrassing. We're not going to go any further. Paul writes, have you found life on the waters and the difficult... how have you found life on the waters and the difficult financial times? Paul, I haven't found it financially difficult, other than when I have to top the engine up with diesel. That kills me. At £1.40 something or other, but it's still cheaper than white diesel, what you're paying. And I do know, because my brother-in-law is a farmer, that this, you know, he's paying a lot less than what I'm paying red diesel. But I don't go out drinking, I don't go to pubs, generally speaking. I have been to a pub with a mate last week and we had 2 pints and a meal. I was disappointed with the Swan bottle, really. It was just an average, not even that good. And I've been out with Tony, but then I said, you know, we got smashed before we went to the pub. So generally speaking, I don't go out spending loads of money. So what money I have got, I'm able to save still. Food. Leads nicely onto it. Often you seem to make really quick meals and use stuff from the freezer. Is eating fresh and healthy difficult when constantly on the move? I don't think there's a difference between frozen food, because it's picked and then frozen straight away. I don't think there's a problem with eating that. I have a underfloor cupboard in the galley, which I put vegetables, you know, like onions, leeks, potatoes, new potatoes, lemons, stuff like that, that I, you know, take room in the fridge. So they go under there. Keeps things cool. They don't stay cool at the moment because it's not, the water's quite warm outside actually. And I just think, Paul, it takes a little bit of planning. If you've got the time to plan, then I can just get stuff out of the freezer and let it defrost. Chicken, fish I can cook frozen, you know, poach it. Mince I can cook frozen, but I generally defrost it. Chicken, it's the only thing that I have to defrost. But everything else, I just steam it, and it's there, it's fresh, it's great. And so it's just ease of cooking, generally speaking. Well, those are the questions that I'm going to answer this week. Next week will be about my time with the Queen, about Boris Johnson, and what I think of the royal family. So hope you've enjoyed it. Comment below if you have, and if you've got any more questions, comment below. But for now, thanks for watching, thanks for liking, thanks for subscribing, and next week, well, I've told you what it's going to be about, so I'll see you next week. Bye for now.